Hey, what's up, YouTube? What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm doing a little discombobulated. I was over on the FYF stream today, FYF podcast. I had a little tussle going on. So we got again. I want to give this topic its just due. It kind of came to me today. Um, because my friend CW the channel host, he had a short and he was asking, is the GOAT debate ruining the game? And I would tend to agree, because it really has us fans out here, like, it has us fans going back and forth. We're sniping at each other. It's going crazy. And I think it's important that we actually have that discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's have a go debate. I mean, me personally, again, I've always said this. There's no right answer when you're talking about GOAT. I mean, all right, Brian Scalabrine is not the GOAT. That's a wrong answer. But there's no right answer, because it's a subjective conversation. It's a subjective conversation. No one is necessarily the GOAT. Like, it depends on what your criteria is. Now, as I said, from when you have the GOAT debate, you didn't have to have a fair and consistent criteria, and that's when the debate uh, pretty much heats up. Is your criteria fair and consistent? Does it? Obviously, you can't tell me that Brian Scalabrine or Popeye Jones is the GOAT. It's not objectively true. You could say that he's the GOAT role player or the GOAT 12 man, right? Shout out to Brian Scalabrine, because he went viral beating my guy from West Fourth, George, in a 1-on-1, 11-0, proving that Brian Scalabrine actually is a godsend in a lot of ways, because he proves to that casual fan, the average NBA fan, that you're not you're not on their level. There's a guy who's in his 50s now, probably almost 50. What's up, JB?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on? Yeah,
bro?
CW will be coming through in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just on FYF, bro. I was just on FYF. I'm gonna invite you to catch it afterwards, because every time I go on FYF, I set it up. I even get a Johnny to pull up, and they tried it. They tried me. They tried to.
They try to pull up. They try to pull up on her.
No, well, I pulled up on them. I would love them whenever because they usually go 5, 6, 7 hours, man. We probably ain't going that long, but if I would love for them to catch wind that I'm doing, because it's gonna look like I ran, because I was trying to get up to about 9:30. I was trying to send you the link and everything, and I was just on there with them, and they just, bruh, they told me, Ajani said that Jordan was not elite at the basket. He said Jordan was not an elite at the basket player. I don't know what numbers he got, because it was so funny. What's so funny is they didn't even keep the numbers. They didn't even keep the numbers on shooting stats and shooting percentage until like Jordan's last 2 years with the Bulls, right? Until like Jordan's last 2 years. I mean, 96, 97 was the first year they started counting that. So if you're using 96, 97, or 97, 98 to tell me that Jordan was not an elite at the basket player, bro, there's nothing else I got for you, bro. There's nothing else I got. I mean, this just a horribly bad takes, and
these cats, they just come up with some kind of every day they say, okay,
every day.
We're gonna kick this out.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Look, it all started from See, this is what I'm saying. Stephen A is great at what he does. You gotta give him credit, because what he talks about on First Take, and I don't always agree with him. I've said this on my stream. I only agree with him 60% of the time. I believe he knows a lot, but there's a lot that he don't know. But he is very good at getting people to talk, and that's his job, right? So again, LeBron can think he's winning this little battle. Stephen A, look, you're only giving Stephen A ammunition. Stephen A's job is to talk about sports, and if you're gonna become part of the story, So Stephen A had to think about how NBA players of the past. He probably did this on purpose. So he said a past NBA player said Steph Curry would only average 17 points a game. And that was the basis of Lamont FYF's whole show, right? Again, as the old heads be hating. Again, this is an anonymous player. Now, you know how we are when it comes to anonymous sources, right? Stephen A. probably is like, and then Draymond Green had to clap back and his own. So now, again, this gets into the whole topic here about the GOAT discussion. Like, we gotta have the GOAT discussion. You know, we gotta have it right because I agree, it's ruining the game. We didn't do this back in the day. Yeah, we didn't do this with the
game.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Think about your. You didn't have lunch table discussions about Magic Johnson versus Wilt Chamberlain versus Bill Russell, right? My era, Jordan versus Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and all. We didn't do it. It wasn't vitriolic. When the time that they had the GOAT discussion, it was them two face to face. 2 years before Wilt passed, unfortunately, he came to the 50th anniversary ceremony, and he basically shut Jordan up and said, "Bro, they made rules for you to help you. They made rules to stop me." Jordan said, "You know what? I can handle comeback for that." And again, the GOAT debate is a subjective debate. It's a subjective debate. There's no right answer. The only way I can prove someone wrong is if I prove their criteria on what they make or what they have for the GOAT wrong. And again, it's still your opinion. Everybody's gonna have the greatest of all time. I mean, because one thing you can't do is they can't play each other. Even Kobe and LeBron never played in a playoff series, right? And their careers were like within 6-7 years apart, but they never played in a playoff series. So it really is a subjective discussion. It's hard to have, but if we're gonna have it, let's have it right. You know, let's talk about, because number one, first of all, you got to realize greatest of all time means greatest of all time. Not the greatest I saw, not the greatest of my era. It means greatest of all time. So again, it's subjective. The only people I really don't ever put in my GOAT, again, George Mikan can get top 50. The NBA's first superstar, Jumping Joe Folk, Paul Arizin, he deserves to be in the top 75. So does Mikan. But again, you really can't seriously consider them GOATs if they played in a segregated league. Or like, I don't believe that Mikan ever played against Bill Russell. I think his career was done by the time Bill Russell got in the league. And that would have been interesting to see, right? Just how much better Bill Russell was than a George Mikan, or would they actually have class? But George Mikan, you know, at that point, he was probably 30, in his late 30s. I mean, early 30s, which at that point, you know, was almost, you're almost done. Again, the nutrition, the advancements of the game, the 3-point shot, the way the game has changed, everything has changed. You know, only thing I can say when you have the GOAT discussion is how dominant you were in your era, and how much of your team's success, like that's pretty much what were you the best in your era? Were you the best in the league? And if you weren't the best in the league at any one point, which is why I don't have Duncan anywhere close to my GOAT. And again, I don't think Duncan ever had number one. I think he was number 3 for a long time. I think he was number 3 behind Kobe and Shaq. Like, say when Kobe and Shaq were going to 3-peat, right? But at what point I don't give Duncan number 1 over Kobe at any point. I just don't. The numbers, the way he played, the whole 9. I understand he was a very effective player, but Kobe was just that guy, right? So, and again, Kobe was a player I didn't like, but I gave him credit. I wanted T-Mac to get in a playoff series that outdo Kobe. It never happened. T-Mac never won a playoff series until, like, technically as a end of the bench members of the Spurs. So, that's what it is. That's the other thing, right? So T-Mac, unfortunately, he left the Toronto Raptors before they got good, but like they were good enough to beat the Knicks in 2001. So he left them in the summer of 2000. and he went to a team that was supposed to be the first super team, right? Where three guys come in as free agents. Duncan, Grant Hill, and T-Mac all were supposed to come to the Orlando Magic. Well, Grant Hill came and T-Mac came, but unfortunately, Grant Hill came injured, and T-Mac was left, and Duncan didn't come, and T-Mac was left on that Orlando team for a good long time, and they were just never good enough. They never had Grant Hill never really regained his form, and they never really took off. So that's one of the reasons why he didn't win a playoff series. And how much do I like punish him for that, right? Again, another guy like Donovan Wilkins never had the team. Great player, but never had the team to get up there with a Michael Jordan. He wasn't as good as Michael Jordan, but he was damn sure in the neighborhood, right? So sometimes when it comes to go like that, and that's another one. Carmelo Anthony. We did the Carmelo Anthony show last week, right? And then Carmelo, I wish I knew that he was being, because I thought what his last year was 23, but somehow he's eligible for Hall of Fame this year. I'm not understanding why, but he's the first ballot Hall of Famer, and props to that. But again, you got guys online saying he was not good enough to be a first ballot Hall of Fame, and they go by, he's never won anything. Again, we went through his career. Number one, when it comes down to the Naismith Hall of Fame, your college career and your Olympic career matters. Melo was the first freshman, one and done, to be the most outstanding player of a championship team. The only championship in Syracuse, and Syracuse had a lot of great players go through there. So again, obviously Melo is not in my top 10 or top 20, but he is one of the greatest of all time. But again, I will say this: the GOAT debate is a subjective debate. I think ring culture ruins the NBA more than anything, because that's what it comes down to. If you ain't win a ring, you ain't it. A la Charles Barkley, a la Karl Malone, a la Patrick Ewing, a la Melo, these guys were a lot better than a lot of guys who are number ones or number twos who did win rings. Let's keep it real.
Yep.
Let's keep it real. These guys that y'all saying never win because they didn't have the team. And now here's what happened. Because those guys went through their whole career and not have a team. Well, you have these players of today saying, "Oh, not me. I'm going to go and join with so and so. I'm going to play with so and so." You know what I'm saying? And that to me ruins the league more than anything. Because you're not nowadays you don't have continuity on a team. You don't have a squad. You don't have great teams, because these teams have. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, because that core has been together for a few years. The top 4 or 5 guys. I know they traded Karis LeVert, right? But the top 4 or 5 guys have been on that team, developing that team's strengths for a while, and now they could be a great team. Same thing with Boston. Boston was together for 5, 6 years. You don't have a lot of that now, because team players do team hop. You know.
Well.
So you got KD going. There's going to be a KD sweepstakes in the off season. I want my Knicks far away from that, because I don't want, I don't want that to go down. Not that KD's not a great player. I just don't think that will be conducive to what my Knicks are trying to build. Honestly, I mean, we're still, the Carnegie Towns trade. We're still struggling to put the chemistry together. See, that's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize. Chemistry matters on these great teams. It's not just about numbers. It's not just about throwing 1 or 2, 3 stars together, and that makes a great team. No, you need chemistry. You need guys that can play off each other. When I look at Phoenix, I don't think KD and Booker have much chemistry at all, and neither one of them have it with Bill. So it's like 3 number 1 scorers that you crammed up on a team and thought that was going to be successful, and it's not. Let's keep it real. It's not. What is your thought? Who was your go? I mean, I think I wanted Rob to come in because I gave him the link, but Rob's go is Kareem, and I respect that. I do respect that. Obviously Kareem is in my top 5. I got him number 4. You know, but I think both of us agree on who to go there, right?
Well, this is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
The person who they talk the most, whoever they talk about the most about, and try to essentially erase from history, that basketball player is the standard. And the person
Yep.
they've been trying to talk about every day. And really, when he retired, the league, see, no, one thing, no one player is bigger than the league. No one basketball
Mm-hmm.
player is bigger than the league. When you start trying to cater to one guy, your league is gonna take a hit, and that's what we witnessing right now. All I can say is this, man. Game 1 of the '92 finals between the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trail Blazers. We all know Chicago Bulls were the defending champion, trying to go for two in a row. And all season long, I remember there was an issue of Sports Illustrated. On the cover, it had Michael Jordan and Clyde Drexler on the cover, and it said collision course. With the season ending as Michael Jordan, the MVP, and Clyde Drexler was the runner-up. They were the 2 best players in the world that year. So the anticipation for them to go at it and with the championship on the line, it was second. It was even greater than Magic and Jordan and Magic. It was even, it was on the first ball. Clyde, they played the same position. Okay, so contrary to popular belief, the Bulls were not favored in every finals that they went to. This final, the odds was 50-50. Portland had the deepest team in the league for 3 years, 1990, 91, 92. So we finally got a chance to see Jordan and Clyde go at it. All I can say is this, man. You really didn't know who was going. You honestly didn't know who was going to win.
Did not. See, they think a lot of these guys, they think that it was foregone conclusion the Bulls were going to win. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't because you really.
If you look at the Bulls roster, the Bulls were not overstacked with talent, bro. They weren't.
Everybody
Scottie
just
Pippen was
played
still
a role.
doubted in 91. Yeah.
And Jordan demanded nothing but your best. He demanded nothing less but your best. Portland was pretty dominant during the playoffs. I mean, they had a real good championship run where you knew they was gonna come out the West. That game 1, man, Jordan played so. I don't think a lot of fans understand how great he played in that first half. The man dropped 35 points in the first half from every conceivable area on the court. Dunks, drives, bank shots, pump fake, everything. Fadeaways and ones. All I can say is this, man. When he was draining them threes, dog, and when he hit the last one, I'll never forget it. I was sitting down in the living room seat, and I remember jumping up. I just remember I didn't even think to do it. It wasn't like I was just trying to premeditately do that. I remember standing up and say, "You got it, Doc." I said, "You got it, man." Because I was kind of rooting for Portland because they're the Western Conference guy. I stood up. I said, "You the greatest player I've ever seen in my life, Doc," and it just came out. And
yeah, I love the fact you brought that up. Right? Go ahead, my fault.
No, I was just finna say, man, right there, he set the tone in such a way where, really, at that point, the Bulls were playing. They was playing against themselves, meaning the Bulls just had to finish the job, and like they said, they never really felt they was threatening that series, even though Portland would tie it. But it's because the Bulls, like, man, we just didn't play our game, and every time they needed to regain a lead, Jordan was dropping 40 pieces on people. So
that's the beautiful part. Yes, that's the beautiful part
all I
about
can
Jordan.
say is, I said, man, you the greatest player I've ever seen in my life, dog. Period. And I found it in my heart. I always knew, but I didn't want to get it up because I'm like, okay, Magic, he my guy, Lakers, my squad. I didn't want to get that up, but in your heart, you knew. You knew in your heart.
I did not give Jordan the GOAT. I did not give Jordan the title GOAT till he won the 6. And the funny part is the 6 was the best for last because he had to do the most. Right? His idea, right? Again, Pippen was there, and Pippen was. We all know that he was diminished by the back problems and all that. But Jordan really had to give. He had to will himself to win that.
Huh?
And it was so funny, right? I just had the debate with Johnny and Lamont and they were saying how Jordan was not a great 3-point shooter. So I always, I love to catch these guys, right? I love to catch these the baby mamas, Bronx, whatever you want to call them, right? I mean, they use Jesse Jeffries.
You said baby mama.
But you know what I catch when I said, oh, Jordan couldn't shoot threes, but he shot 50% for a season. Now you know that leaves a scrambling. That leaves guys like that scrambling. Yeah. And he hit the 6 threes in the finals and a half, right? That was a record for a long. I think that's still a record, to be honest. Somebody must have tied it. Or wasn't somebody got beat it?
Well, I know
the way they shoot threes.
Well, I know in the half, but like I think for a game, I think Ray Allen had got that in the 2010 finals, and then maybe Curry or somebody like that, overtook that. But nah, man, that first had, and they beat Portland so bad in the first game, man, you knew in your heart it was over. You just kind of knew.
Jordan took it and that was a great team, bro. That was a great team. Again, you guys are gonna look at the numbers. You're gonna say Jerome Kersey wasn't all that good. Who was Kevin Duckworth and Terry Porter? They had Cliff Robinson as a 6-man. The late great Cliff Robinson. Cliff Robinson could score 18, 16, 17 in any era.
Oh, man.
10 guy who could shoot the three. See, I just had this argument with them on FYF, and they saying the players that day could not shoot the three. That's why they didn't shoot. No, it was a different game. I explained to them. And again, when you go, if you ever pull up on, I know you couldn't pull up on it. That's more my speed, because what they do is you come in there and you try to argue against what they're saying, and they try to frame you into a corner. I came on there and I like he played a clip of Ray Allen. He played a clip of a lot of great players speaking on today's game, and Ray Allen was the number one. Because number one, you can never say that Ray Allen could not shoot in any era, anywhere on the court. You cannot say that Ray Allen wasn't an all-time great, right? Ray Allen basically said, I tell these players today to stop coming out, and your first shot should never be a three. It's like almost my first shot was never a three. And this is different. They play inside out instead of outside in what they play now. And I again, they're telling you, well, you got to space the floor because they're really playing zone defense. They play zone defense 40% of the time. Like zone defense is not. They play man-to-man defense 90 at least 90% of the time now. So the idea that you're saying, well, they play zone defense, so you got to shoot people out of zones. No, the reason why they take threes is because analytically it's been proven to be a better shot. Again, Johnny made that argument. You would have to make 60% of your mid-range to equal 40% from three. Granted, right? That's math. That's a math equation. Here's the problem. When you're taking threes, when the game situation doesn't call for it, when you can't make 50%, again, they went through all the leading scorers and they showed you how the leading scorers all shoot mid-range and they shoot at an efficient elite level, right?
Yep.
Well, you're proving my point. You're proving Ray Allen's point, but yet they try to frame me into an argument and say blah, blah, blah. And when I said that Jordan was a three-level scorer, Jordan proved that he could shoot the three if he did. Again, they don't understand that Reggie Miller never had a three in high school. He never had a three in college. Like they would bring in the three-point shot. Like it was weird because the NBA, the NCAA, like every conference didn't have a three-point shot, right? So if you would play a game, in a certain conference home game where they didn't have the three-point line, then there was no three-point line available. They didn't even have the shot clock up until a certain point.
Yep.
So the game had to change. When I say that Jordan didn't have a three-point line at his earlier levels, that's a fact. They had a three-point line in a few games in his career. If you go back and look, what was Jordan's three-point percentage in college? Well, you really couldn't measure it because he didn't have the three-point shot. Oh, well, that means Jordan was no, and it wasn't he was in a disadvantage. The point is, players now, like the players who are, like, let's say you're a power forward. Power forwards, and I brought up Julius Randle because Julius Randle was a guy who didn't take a lot of threes at the beginning of his career, right? And then he was told, you're going to have to take threes. You're going to have to take threes to help with spacing. And then now he takes it and he's a decent. He's not a good one, but he's a decent, feasible three-point shooter. Julius Randle would have never had to do that in the 90s. They would have let him cook and score his 20 and 10 in the mid range and back to the basket, going to the rim. This is something when they have these debates, you're not understanding errors. I don't think those. I think they do, but they don't really understand it because I don't think either one of them were old enough to understand what NBA how the game was played. Again, you're bringing up numbers how when they push in the 3-point line, the 22 feet universal, right? Because it's 22 feet on the corners, but then it's 22 feet. They push it where it's a universal line. They saying that's the WNBA line. Okay, great. That was done to invite players to take more threes. And it worked because they went from 9.9 to 15.3, as he told me the numbers, and they went up to 16.7. The percentage went up. And then they moved it back and it went back to 13. But it didn't go back to 10. See, this is one thing they don't realize. Jordan made the 6 threes. Was that game one or game two? When he made 6 threes?
That's right out the gate. That was game one.
Game one. Do you understand that Jordan made more threes than he took in the previous final? And he did it because, we're gonna make you prove that you can make the threes, and he made 6. See, if you, man, listen, if you're gonna have to go debate, have it right. Understand the errors. Understand. Clayton Crowley dropped a video recently. He did the making the case, making the case series where he went through 8 players and he made a case for them being GOAT. He never sat there and said anybody was the GOAT. He just made the case. Great. He did a Charles Barkley video. That kid was born in 1998. That will make him 27 now. He understands. I have to go back and research these errors and understand the game before I talk about it. And he can do that on YouTube at an elite level. These guys can mislead their little 25-year-old fan base into believing what they want them to believe. That nobody can shoot threes in that era. And I sat there, bro. That's why I gave you the link late, because I was on there at 9:33 and I realized, okay, look. Let me be fair to you, my guest. You know what I'm saying, man? Actually, I consider you a partner. Let's get. But bro, Lamont talked for 2 straight hours.
Real quick, Rose. I didn't mean to interfere, but I just came across Ticket TV doing a live stream and saying LeBron James may have broken. I guess he got injured or something just now.
Oh shit!
May broken ribs.
Woo! Wow. Hold on. Let me prove that. Let me see that. That's some crazy breaking news. It's funny how we live streaming with breaking news. Like the whole thing with Stephen A. happened was live streaming about
I gotta hop
the
on
media.
for that. I haven't heard that yet. I had to hop on.
CW, what's good, man?
Ticket TV doing this was 5 minutes
Ticket
ago.
TV. Shout out to Ticket TV, but he be clickbaiting a lot. Let's see.
Now I do notice that because I remember when he said Kyrie was going to sign with the Lakers, and God knew Kyrie was never going to play back with him again.
He had broke the Voletta Wallace news, right? And I didn't believe it. Then I had to go Google. Voletta Wallace did pass away. I mean, so a lot of times he get the breaking news and get you on there, and then he's talking about his variety of things. And shout out to Ticket TV, man. He's one of the best at this, man. We aspire to be you. But I want if LeBron actually hurt himself tonight.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. Like I said, man. What they got to realize, the fault that these guys make is, first of all, if you got, excuse me, put it this way. They're not just trying to diminish Jordan; they're trying to eliminate him.
That's the one thing you can do.
And I picked up on it. That's the only way they could make their case. So I'm trying. It's so visceral. It's filled with such vitriol. It's bringing the whole league dynamic down. And I think what's happening is a lot of these young stars, like Ja Morant, the way he was playing 3 years ago. The way that man played 3 years ago, man, like these young stars is ready. But I think part of what's going on is they see that, well, damn, we're not really getting that spot. Like, we work hard. We doing it by the book. We out there competing. And certain people still getting rewarded. And they getting top 3 players to help them win. Well,
yep.
So they looking at it like, well, damn. What's the use of me going out here trying to put forth my best ever to represent the league, and y'all keep undercutting us? So what I'm saying is, a lot of LeBron fans, man, and I get it. If someone start off, like I said, I had no issue with LeBron James doing his first stint in Cleveland, and I always said, damn, because Cleveland is a great sports town. I used to love the Cleveland Browns. Coming up as a kid and all that good stuff. I always respected Jim Brown and what he did. The autograms back in the day. I said, man, if he ever led into a championship, I said, man, that'd be one of the greatest stories in history of the NBA. I meant that when I said that. So they don't understand what competition is. That's 50% of their problem. It ain't about going out there and getting stats. It's about rising to the occasion and you going toe to toe with the money on the line. That's very hard to do. That's very, because as George say, in order to win, you gotta be willing to lose. Meaning you gotta play in a way, man, where it's almost like it's a no consequence. What he's saying is, in order to win, you got to be willing to lose if that's what you got to go through eventually in order to win. So when he went out there balling against the Pistons, and the Pistons, man, they threw the kitchen sink at him. Well, all they really did was they really created a pit bull. So no pun intended. So when he broke through, you knew in your heart at that point, well, nobody gonna beat him, dog. That was it. In an 82-game season, nobody was gonna beat that man, and it never happened. So therefore, the way I look at it is, he set such a high standard that he felt at the age of 30 he could retire, go play another sport. It wasn't like he retired and went to the booth, like to the broadcast booth. He went to go play another sport. And I honestly believe if it weren't for that strike, Major League Baseball, shutting down the rest of their season, I believe he would have became a baseball player. Yeah. I think he would have made it.
Major League, yeah, they would have brought him up at least for the 40. You know how they expand the rosters in September.
Yeah.
Because the minor league season is over, they could have brought him up, and again, that would look. He'd have played 2 sports, right? Like Bo Jackson and Dion. But yeah,
what's up, CW? By the way, so what's up, CW?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you in another one, man. The flu game, dog. When the pregame when he got the team bus, I remember. Look, I said, what's up with Jordan? Cause it looked like he had lost some weight or something. He said he had food poisoning. He had no business playing in that game, but he refused to lose and let his team lose. Man, and after the game, Scottie Pippen was like, "Yeah, man, I didn't really step up tonight. He put the team on his back." And I remember after that game, that nigga Phil Jackson, they cut a Gatorade commercial like on the spot. And nigga Phil Jackson said, "Man, he made me a believer." Man. I'm telling you, a tear came out my eye because
that was the greatest game. Yeah.
That's probably the greatest game.
It's funny. I watched that game remastered on YouTube, and I just saw, and it made me really realize, bro, Jordan willed that team to win.
He willed the team to win.
When they took Jordan out, Steve Kerr was running the offense. It was like 5 or 6 minutes of the game, but you saw that at that point. I saw the difference, and Jordan was tired because. Again, Jordan put the team on his back. Scottie was hurt for a long, he played all 82, played all the playoff games. Dennis Rodman wanted to go on a little, Dennis Rodman wanted to go to Las Vegas in the middle of the season. And again, he did that for he missed 2 or 3 games at that point, right? But Jordan had to go through all the mental and physical. Wait a minute. So Bron, let me see.
And Utah was a squad. And if they go up 3-2, who knows how they
end? He's still playing. He's still playing LeBron. He hasn't scored.
He's playing. The ticket TV was just. I don't know what he was doing.
Clickbaiting. Well, I see he has something on with Diddy and something like that. So I was using my other phone to see what was going on. But LeBron is struggling. He might have got hurt and trying to play through it. as you know, LeBron got to keep that 10-point streak going because he did that on a sprained ankle. Remember that, right? He hit 2 threes against Atlanta.
And the man is 40 years old, and I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. You look at the Western Conference. You look at a team like Houston. I bet you most of these aficionados on these sports shows, they wouldn't imagine Houston catapult to number 2 seed. But if you really study the team, they made a similar push last year after the All-Star break, but Sengun got hurt, injured his knee, missed the rest of the season, and the team just kind of collapsed after that. But they healthy now. They healthy, and they got a good balance, man. And they made that push, and they number 2 seed. So the problem that the Lakers are having is, in order to keep up with the rest of the top teams in the conference, the top bracket, they have to mortgage more of the future off to try to bring in another superstar in this win now mode, but they still can't get the number 1 seed. That's dangerous to me. You should be if you'd have made these many moves, you should be winning. What OKC is doing, and was scared about OKC. They just getting started.
They just getting started, and they've added to the team. Again, it's one thing to add to a core. Like, what's the core? Who we added? Like obviously the Stockton Malone core. Well, I think the core. I remember we was talking about this before. When cores of the 90s stayed together for 10, 15 years, the Stockton Malone core, you took out Jeff Malone and then you added Hornacek at one point, right? You took out Mark Eaton, you added Greg Ostertag at one point, right? Or, whoever. Antoine Carr was in the mix and all that. But when you had the number, at least the top 2 guys, and you would have a core together for 4 or 5 years, 6, 7 years, that team can do a lot better than a team that's just put together. OKC's core has been building for a while. Cleveland's core has been building for a while.
And Lakers don't want to play that team. They don't want to play that team, dog. Because reality
of course
is,
not. Oh yeah, OKC was stomping them out. OKC
and I'm gonna tell you, see, they went through the experience last year, and Dallas came back. And I believe the reason Dallas really won that series was because the player Derek Lively, his energy in the paint, his his rebounding ability, just everything he brought to the table, man. He really showed his value as a rookie, and I believe he helped them clinch that series. I really believe
the shot jocks over at FYF told me that Anthony Edwards was a 3-level scorer because they got the number to prove so, but Jordan was. I mean, at this point, bro, like what quick again, it's the same guy. Because look, one thing, you say something to me, I'm gonna always remember, especially if it's something like Sam Cassell couldn't get his own 3. So when Johnny pulled up, I had to hit him right in the face with, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that thinks Sam Cassell couldn't get his own shot off the dribble. You the one that thinks Sam Cassell didn't have unlimited range. He couldn't hit logo 3."
Sam Cassell was super clutch.
Super
clutch.
And again, they tried to say, well, these guys were the coaches again. We all understand that analytics took over all 3 sports, all 3 major sports. The only one that is still the same sport it used to be is hockey, because you have to be tough. There's only one way you have to be tough. You have to hit hard. You need your finesse players. You need your defensive, But analytics took over baseball, where it made you, if you don't hit the 2-1 home run, 3-run home run, if you don't sit there, they don't like players to spray the ball over the field. Kirby Puckett and the Wade Boggs wouldn't be able to play today. They wouldn't value a Wade Boggs, the guy that had the score, the batting title every year, because he didn't hit enough home runs.
Man, that dude was hitting 350s on cash
every year. Every year.
350.
You couldn't like Tony Gwynn struck out probably less than 1,000 times his whole career. Late great Tony Gwynn. Kirby Puckett wouldn't have been valued. They're only going to value the guy that hits 260, strikes out 175 times, and hits 35 home runs. No, I don't think that's the official. They wouldn't have valued Ricky Henderson, the late great Ricky Henderson, who just passed away this past Christmas season.
Greatest leadoff hitter of all time.
Because they believe stealing bases is inefficient. Again, see, when I say you need to score at all 3 levels, again, I get it. You got to shoot 60% to equal 40% from 3. But that's a really oversimplistic way of looking at it, because again, if you're force feeding 3-point shot shooting. That's not the best way to play. Now I get it. The teams are going to shoot 33 again, right? The worst team in the league is going to shoot 33s in this era when the league average was 15 in the 90s. If that doesn't tell you that was when they brought in the 3-point shot. Well, they'll tell you, the guys couldn't hit threes. No, the guys that couldn't hit threes could hit threes. You had to draw up play. You had to play the ball inside. Again, when they make those disingenuous arguments, they're not going to tell you that the best scorers were the elite scoring big men. They're going to tell you that the guys outside of Jordan, the other leading scorers were Patrick Ewing at 28 one time. Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq, David Robinson, the elite scoring big men. They're going to shoot their mid-range, but they damn sure weren't shooting threes. And they were getting most of their shit at the basket and out of the post. You work the ball into the post, and then you work the best shot off of what offense you could run from there. Now they shoot threes, and a big man got to shoot threes, and the post is only ran in certain half-court sets, and it's not a lot. So the way the game is played is completely different. Again, we all know the way the game played was in the 60s. So if you're going to tell me could nobody shoot, again, they'll tell you that nobody. When those guys told me that Pistol Pete couldn't shoot long range, I mean, come on, bro. Pistol Pete Maravich could shoot long range.
Man. They actually said that?
Bro, yeah, they said that. That's probably when CW saw me on there cooking them the first time. Because I'm like, you tell him. I said, okay, well, Pistol Pete Maravich made 6 out of what? 6 out of 11 or 6 out of 9. Again, he only had the 3-point shot for his last season. That was Larry Bird's rookie year. His last year. He had to retire for health reasons. Pistol Pete would have been with a marksman from the 3. He couldn't get a shot off the dribble. Again, the game is played differently because it's played differently. And then they try to bring up, how defenses were ahead of offenses once they put the zone defense in. Again, they're not attributing to the fact that a lot of high school players were unskilled. A lot of high school players did not have were busts. They were being drafted at the top of those drafts, not performing the way they would have had they gone to play college. See, those players that go to play college, I believe if I had a son, my son was coming up, and I would advise him to go to school. I wouldn't advise him to take the G League route because I don't think they teach much. I want him to be the best all-around player. Again, shout out to Melo. I think Melo was a great all-around player because he went and he was too good for college at that point. He was too good. You couldn't stop him. And he was an unstoppable, fabulous freshman who led his team to a national championship. So those guys that say he never won anything, you're capping. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when you have to go debate, you really have to understand every era. And guys will speak on errors that they don't understand, and they'll use things like, look at the numbers here, and look at what illegal defense, they were playing, like Lamar said, you were playing to take advantage of the illegal defense rule. You were playing to get guys one-on-one, again, right? You were playing to get guys one-on-one, but then he's saying, the defense wasn't really that good. Well, let me ask you this. How many point guards can guard the ball like Kobe, like Mookie Blaylock, Derek Harper, and Gary Payton? How many point guards are going to win the Defensive Player of the Year doing what Gary Payton did? If you're telling me defenses weren't that great, and again, that's one thing. Just to say, an elite ball stopping point guard, like a guy who, he's going to hawk you. He's the glove, right? Derek Harper can hawk you, can stop you, make you. Because when you hand check, now the guy has to play with his back to the basket. He has to kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of keeping him in check where he can't just blaze back. Now with the freedom of movement, guards are now the most elite scorers for the most part. Centers, unless you're a multi-skilled guy like Embiid and Nikola Jokic, you're not going to even another multi-skilled guy like Sabonis. He's not going to average 30, but you can run offense through him because he has all types of skill. Now it's a different game, and the guy that has the ball is going to be the leading scorer. Point guards were almost never the leading scorer of teams, and if they did, it's like You're telling me that Isaiah Thomas in this era couldn't get 29, 30 a game, but yet Isaiah Lord Thomas, but Isaiah Thomas before he got the hip injury could average 30? The one that went to Washington, who was named after Isaiah Lord Thomas? Come on now. It's a different, it just goes to show you the game was played differently. I said this with Curry. It's not that he wouldn't have been great in his era, that he just wouldn't have had the freedom to take the shots that he would take. Again, Kevin Garnett was another guy that Lamont put on that and quoted. Like, you couldn't take that double step back. And if you took the double step back, you better have made it or your ass was getting yanked out the game. That's the point. It was guys that could make the double step back, but they played in a system more conducive to the team. You couldn't just have it was certain guys that had a green light because they were nice. But it wasn't that many. Even Jordan didn't have the same green light y'all thought he did. They brought in the triangle offense to get him to score in the system rather than just go off for 30, 40 because he could. You understand? This is what they don't get, man. This is what they don't get. And that's what I say, man. I probably will in the description. I'm trying to get in the description. Probably CW got to do it. To put who I think the GOATs are in this, that, and the third, like what my lists are. Again, I think you know my list. I got MJ first. I got Wilt second. I got Russell third. I got Kareem fourth, Magic fifth, Bird sixth, Kobe seventh, LeBron eighth. I know you probably don't have LeBron there. I gotta give LeBron his credit. Then I have ninth. I have Shaq, and then 10th I have Hakeem. After that, you got Oscar Robertson. You got Oscar Robertson. Jerry West is in there somewhere. You know, the order after to 11, but my top 10, Hakeem is the 10th. I mean, again, I just go by the greatest players I saw. It's champion. You can't just do the championship thing. You can't. You got to really consider a lot of different things. And again, I think a lot of players, especially now with ESPN pushing it down your throat. Okay, let's get into this part. Why we have the GOAT debate? And look, we have the GOAT debate because LeBron is butthurt and Jordan don't want to embrace it. Let's keep it 1,000 because I think Jordan.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why.
There's a reason why, and we all know the reason why. Jordan doesn't embrace him. LeBron knows the way Jordan felt about Kobe. He don't feel about you, and you feel some kind of way about it. But then now, again, like you said earlier, alluded to earlier, Jermaine, these guys they're trying to. The worst part is, see, I respect Kobe because Kobe knew where Jordan's standard was, and he tried to match it. These guys want to lower what Jordan's level was. They want to tell you he wasn't as good as you thought he was. And then now, my guy who accepts losing.
That's what's hurting the game.
It definitely was hurting the game. It's definitely what hurt the game.
And the disconnect, like, let me put it this way. Okay, like, let's say, how can I put this? Like, Kobe has high regard and high respect for Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Now, they retired. Mm-hmm. Chamberlain retired in 74.
74. Russell retired in
69, 70. So Kobe came in the league 26 years later.
Kobe was born in 78.
So he born in 78, mm-hmm. And he came in the league in 96. But because of the fact that the standard was maintained and the past players were upheld in high regard and high esteem, well, therefore, Kobe has a reference point to say, man, I want to try to be a winner like these guys, along with the Jordans and everybody else who, Birds and the Magics. When you try to downgrade that, well, it gives a lot of players, like, I think that's what's going on with Anthony Edwards. Because he got screwed up this year. Yeah. When they said 88 Jordan, when they compared to 88 Jordan, he ain't been the same since. Last year, he was playing some damn good basketball. Mm-hmm. And they said he on level 88 Jordan. You can't come out there and just let him play.
Derrick Jones bottles him up. Derrick Jones Jr. bottles him up, and then goes to show you why. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice talent. He can, he's got there's certain things in his game. Look, Cole proved that he's a student of the game because again, like LeBron on that McAfee interview proved that he ain't no because he don't know nothing about these 70 dudes. He couldn't tell you the first thing about Moses Malone. But I bet you Barkley can tell you about Moses Malone because but the reason why Barkley has a goddamn career because Moses Malone got his ass in the shape. Barkley's going to ease his way out of the league. Like he couldn't tell you about. He talking shit about what Giannis would have done in the 70s. But LeBron didn't like Google anything about. LeBron is not a student of the game. He's a student of his own game. And see, this is the thing, right? Again, the reason why Jordan and Kobe has a relationship they have is Kobe called him. He called him to pick his brain on both physical parts of the game and the mental aspects of the game. LeBron didn't. LeBron came in there, and this is shout out to Skip Bayless. Shout out to Common Sense who covered the Skip Bayless thing. Yeah, this is we all noticed that Kobe called Jordan. Kobe said, and I want to be like Mike. LeBron thought he came in the league as a chosen one and was already like Mike because he had a few. He has a few things like obviously LeBron is an amazing physical talent, but he's not a student in the game, and he did not work on the weakness of the game. He never had. I told you many times, Jermaine, JB, he didn't have to. He didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? That's what the game is now simplified to where he can do what he does. Again, they was like, "Oh, is LeBron an elite? Is LeBron a mid-range scorer?" No, he's not. No, he's not. And my eyes are gonna tell me that. Again, they were going through because how many guys make two? How many of those are in the paint shots? Because in the paint shot is not a mid-range shot. They went through all of this and that. Look, the guys of the 90s, I guarantee you can't find one guy that scored 20 points a game in the 90s who took more threes and twos. It just didn't happen. It did not happen, And again, the greatest of all time, and again, the only era that I don't really consider for my GOAT, I will put George Mikan and Paul Arizin in the top 75. But the segregator and Arizin did play against black players, but those are all like if you didn't play against black players, if you didn't play against Bill Russell, if you didn't play against Sweetwater Clifton and all that, I can't really consider you. Yeah, you can't. If you didn't play against the guys that broke the color barrier, then I'm not. I'm not. But by the same token, we all know that they didn't stay around long enough anyway to be go because they started letting black players in about 7 or 8 years after the league began, right? So historically, that's true. But again, you have to consider all, and you can't just dismiss the 60s. You can't. Oh, it was only 9 teams. There was a lot of, again, the challenges, flying coach. When Jordan came in the league, everybody was flying coach. When Jordan left the league, everybody had charter flights. And so I think one team still had to get their own. I think one team was still trying to save up to get their own flight so they can fly the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, and we said this, you being the greatest, lead the league in better condition than you have. The ratings went sky high with Jordan. It was must-see TV. Oh, they make all excuses why the ratings are what they are now. The ratings fluctuate. They go up and down. It's not. Look,
we want to see superstars compete.
We want to see them compete. We want to believe that y'all compete. We want to believe that competing against Jordan, Barkley, Malone, all these guys. We believe they were ultimate competitors because we saw it. They played every night. That was number one. They played every night. They didn't give you excuses. Again, with a fucking hangnail, if you have a hangnail and you can't play, or you have a sore hip or whatever. Again, I get it. You're trying to preserve your career because you want to. You're making this money to feed your family. So right? If you're gonna whine about what the old heads say about you, well, number one, if they are telling you guys are not tough, you guys are not playing through minor little tic-tac injuries, well, then that's one thing. If it's true, it's true. If it's bullshit, it's bullshit. How many guys are playing all 82? How many guys are playing 70 and more? I mean, it is what it is. I get some people like the injuries, what Kawhi Leonard is going through, what Joel Embiid is going through. Now you got Tyrese Maxey's out for the year. I mean, what all these guys are going through are legit. I mean, injuries happen. It sucks. But by the same token, yeah, we're going to question your toughness if you're low management. Right? They try to act like LeBron didn't just have a fake injury and sit out for 2 weeks so he can go to the Suns game. I mean, come on, let's go. Let's go. Oh, hold on, I guess I'm here by myself. Hold on 1 second.
By that is Jordan raised the ball so high to where, man, you can't take no shortcuts against me, dog. I got it, and and if he sensed that you weren't really to compete, you was finished. That's what they don't understand, man. The mistake they're making is they're sitting there arguing about something that's already been determined. So for them to sit there and waste all their energy to talk about what they want people to believe, well, they doing a disservice to the people who support their channel. So what I try to do when I try to talk basketball, I just try to, you know how I feel about my squad right now, and I ain't gonna get off into that tonight. But what I try to do, man, I think what we try to do, and what you try to do with 10 toes down, we really try to express and really highlight the history of the game and let the history of the game speak for itself.
The game
all this talk about which era is the greatest and the talent skill level, it comes down to or can you play better than the next guy when there's money on the line? Because that's how you're gonna remember it. You ain't gonna remember the shooting percentages and just talk about who do this better, who do that better. When it's time to compete, they said Joe wasn't no good 3-point shooter. All I know is, in that game 1 versus Portland, the man shot over 40% from 3 in the series.
We all see that Jordan could take and make any shot he wanted to. Again, I made the point that you bringing up these low percentages. You're not realizing the guy was taking 30. Matter of fact, let me look.
What they're not realizing is, think about it. That just show you how great of a score he really was, because they're gonna say, well, like you said, we know the 3-point shot was really reserved for people who specialize in the shot. So even today, you got everybody taking 3-point shot, and they may be shooting like a standard percent, but that don't mean that they're great at it. And that's what's confusing a lot of these players. Like Ant-Man, he should be taking all them threes. Like Jordan said, I didn't want to take all these threes because it's going to take away from every other aspect of my game. So I'd rather have every other shot and to have court set than to give me every other shot in the arsenal than the 3-point shot. And I'm going to still score more than you, and I'm going to do it in a way that's going to break the defense down and make them weary by games in.
Yeah, so let me do this, right? Because this is one of them things was thrown at my head, right? Jordan 3-point percentages. So I'm going to go to the amount of total. He played 82 games in his rookie year. He made 9 out of 52. That's 17%. He shot in his second year. He played 18 games. He took 18 threes. He only made 3. That was 17%. 12 of 66 in his third year. 18%. 7 of 53, 13%. Okay, that's year 4. By year 5, 27 out of 98, 28%. Again, you got to realize that's around the league average. And again, those guys over there, CW, you could attest to it if they came in, those guys over there will tell you that, that's the league average, because nobody could take nobody could make them. No, nobody took them. And again, I want you guys to understand. I want this to be meant, because they keep bringing this up. Jordan took 52 threes in his rookie year. I guarantee you at least 20 to 25 of them will end of the quarter. I'm heaving the ball because it's the only shot to take. So if I'm going to take 20 heaves and I'm probably going to make maybe 1 or 2 of them, right? We all just saw Josh Giddey make a 47-footer to be in LeBron's face, right? But we all know that most guys are not making that shot at a high clip. If you're gonna if 23s, if let's say 23s, and That means he was 7 out of 30 for the rest of them. Okay, well, that's still not a great percentage, but you got to remember, these were situational shots. These shots were not drawn up the way they're drawn up now. You didn't have guys just pulling from the logo. You didn't have you were working the ball inside and then maybe those were at the end of the shot clock. Okay, the ball's out here, the play broken up. I'm heaving up a three. That's what. So now, when you get to the point where Jordan started taking threes, the first year when he took a
I'm back. Sorry about that, fellas.
Okay. I hear no echo. I'm gonna bring you back. Yeah. Hello? Okay, yeah, the echo was coming from Jermaine. He'll just come back in.
Okay.
So the first year Jordan took 245 threes, he made 38%. This was in 90. At this point, Jordan is proving that he can take the three. He can make the three.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah. Hello?
Hey, do you have it pulled up on your phone or whatever?
Make sure you close YouTube, man.
Oh, my bad. Wait a minute. Okay, my bad. Okay, I think I can.
We good. I
think it's still echoing.
Is it echoing still?
Yeah.
I just closed it out. But wait a minute.
Yeah. Let me see.
Make sure you close any extra browsers as well.
Yeah. Just go out and try to come back in.
Okay. I don't hear it now. Oh, he good. He must have closed his extra browser.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. Again, when Jordan first started, when the first year he took everybody see. So with these guys who don't understand the game, will say, "Oh, when he took more, he made more." Well, yeah, that's because again, Jordan never at any point in his career said, "Oh, let me not take this heat because my percentage is going to go lower." I'm worried about what my percentage is going to look like 20 years down the line for 3-point shots. No, I'm going to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. I'm going to take that shot because guess what? It's nothing lost for me to take it for my team. Now these guys will sit there. The clock is dribbling down, and they'll front like they're going to take the shot. They'll put it up purposely after the buzzer buzzes, so it doesn't count for their percentage. Let's keep it real. And again, when you're taking 400, Ant-Man can take that shot, and it's not going to. When you're only taking 50, it's going to make your percentage much lower, of course. But again, these guys will tell you he couldn't take the three. He couldn't make the three. Okay, what do they say? The 3-point line was put in from 93, 94. I believe 95, 96 was the last year where it was, right? Yeah. So, again, they say Jordan played 3 years under those circumstances, and that's not true. He made 43%.
Yep.
Yeah, he retired the first year. Yeah. So they'll tell you, the 50%.
I just want to ask y'all real quick because I got to hop off for a second. But did we all play basketball when we were growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I know for me, I played late 80s through the 90s. How many 3-point shooters especially once you got to like high school level, did your team have that were allowed to have the green light to shoot threes?
I don't really think, to tell the truth. I mean, I graduated in 89.
Okay.
And
so y'all probably had none. Maybe one or two.
So you probably, it was kind of like, I mean, really, our big man was our primary scorer,
and
I played a power forward spot, and I tried to pattern my game after James Worthy. The way he went baseline and flew by you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember, man, that it was just about, hey, whoever was open, get the ball to him, man, and let him go to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically
somebody,
yeah. And my team, my coach said I played center or 4 center. He said even if we shot mid range, we were gonna go sit beside him. So we had 2 players. They were the shooting guards that could shoot threes. Those were the only players on the team, unless it was just
had to shoot
threes. Yeah, that had the green light to shoot threes. So the game back then was not perimeter base. Like you walked the ball inside, and if you got it out and you were wide open, you shot the three. And just like a Reggie Miller, if he ran through all them screens and got open, he was going to shoot the three. He wasn't going to shoot it. He wasn't going to pull up, just come down, pull up, and shoot a three, because that wasn't a good shot. And it's still not a great shot, but because of analytics, they say, hey, that's better than shooting a wide open mid-range jumper, even though, you know, a mid-range jumper to me is a higher efficiency shot than a pull-up three-point shooter or three-point shot. That's only because, you know, Jordan didn't shoot the threes because that wasn't the shot that was key back then. They didn't rely on three-point shooting. He had a 22, he had a 20-foot pull-up. You had to do like 22, he had an 18, 20, 22. So 18, to me, 60, that's more lethal.
Let me tell you something. See, that's the thing, right? The players of the past, they had sweet spots. You know, that's the next thing they don't understand. Players will have a sweet spot where I get to that point, I'm scoring 75% of the time. Because if I get the ball and I get my space and you get me the ball in the right spot, I'm just gonna score 75% of the time. See, what they don't get, right? When a Johnny tells me that 40% of threes is the same as 60% of twos, that's cool. I understand that. Over the long haul of the game, that's how it works, and that's why they play the game the way they do that. But see, when you're in score time situation, right? And I've challenged them on this many times. You're up by 4. You need to work. You need to nurse that lead because the other team got momentum. You're shooting threes up 4, and you're only making 30% of them, or 35% of them, or even 40% of them. It's not good because number one, defense is tighten up at the end of the game.
Yep.
But number two, if you got that 2 and you're making 55% of your mid range, well, now I get a 2. On top of that, there's the next thing that they don't consider. You're more likely to get fouled taking a 2, a mid range 2, than you are. This is why the free throw merchants y'all call SGA and Jalen Brunson. Well, yeah, I can now nurse that lead because if I take a 3 just to take it, nobody's gonna foul me taking a 3.
Yep.
Man,
they will more likely foul.
Man, I need you this weekend because I need you to talk to my son's coach because they had an 8-point lead with 1 minute left, and they kept the 3-point shooters in there, and they lost.
He's supposed to get you, your big man, or make sure the ball's in the hands of your best player going down the stretch.
Thank you. Because you got the lead. You got the advantage of everything. So if you're taking a 3, you're giving up that advantage.
Thank you.
Fine.
Also,
look, you can knock them out. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the proliferation of 3-point shot to me has led to this concept of positionless basketball, meaning anybody can shoot a 3 now, whether you're big man, your point guard, your wing, your power forward. But see, back then, a scoring guard they scored like a 2 guard.
Yep.
A power forward scored like a power forward. So therefore, their attack to me was more, how can I say this, appropriate, especially during the closing stages of the game, because like you said, a 3-point shot, you bailing out the defense, because if you miss it, the other team would get a long rebound and get off in transition and give up an 8-point game with a minute to go.
Thank you.
I love watching Duke, right? I love watching Duke in that close game. Right? I know you hating on it. But when you watch college, right? Your work, they will work the 30, especially when Duke gets a 16-point lead on Alabama. They will work that whole clock to get the right shot.
Yep.
At that point, when you got a 30-second shot clock, and you know points are not, obviously in college you're not scoring 150 like you scoring in. You never see a team score unless the lower amount gets redone. You'll never see a team do that. But you're also looking at Duke will work. They got the superior advantage, and they're not just working the ball to shoot a 3. Now, you got Cooper, and you got Knappel, and you got Proctor who can make the 3. But you're going to work to get everybody to touch the ball to get the best shot possible. Yep. When you're taking 3s up 8, not only you're taking it with 10 seconds on the shot clock, then A long shot leads to a long rebound, leads to a better chance of transition. And now, next thing you know, this is why teams can't hold leads today. See, it works out on an individual stat. It works out on an individual stats, right? But it's not working out for team basketball because you're not doing them. You're not. It's stupid to take threes up by 8 unless you're going. A guy can have the heat check and a great 3-point shooter will knock a team out. I get it, but by the same token, if you don't have guys that can score at all 3 levels, and I might need that 55% chance of hitting a 2, and add another 15 to 20% of getting fouled. But this is why OKC is where they are. This is why Jalen Brunson is such a great closer, clutch scorer, because he can set you up. Man, listen again, and I'm not saying. Look again, the great to point they tried to make is that great scorers can hit the mid range. Of course, the most successful players make the mid range. See, I'm telling you, man. Listen, bro. You know, I know that's when you saw me cook them.
Yep.
It takes a lot for me to go up there because I know what I'm getting into, right? Lamar loves calling on me. He loves calling on me first. Oh yeah, because I'm gonna sit there and I said I agree with Ray Allen. Ray Allen is telling you, Steph Curry. Kevin Garnett is telling you, don't take the 3 should not be your first shot you take. Ray Allen said this. The 3-point shot was never my first shot. I wound up working myself into that. And I used to tell some of the young guys that I played, man. I actually a Harlem Globetrotter. Now he's the dwarf, right? But I used to tell my man Justin in Westport. He literally played for Harlem Globetrotters. Him and his brother Manny. One time I'm playing, I said, Justin, you took 6 threes. You didn't make none. Come in and take a 2. Well, for us we play 2s and 1s. So you taking the 2-point shot, the 3, outside the 3-point line. I said, come in and take a shot at the foul line. Once you make that, now it's going to open up for you outside. That's the fundamental basketball that we learn. Now they learn take the 3 because analytically, again, the same way in baseball, go for the 3-run home run, not realizing that and work the count, go for the 3-run home run. Yep. There's many ways to score the basketball. That's the problem with today's game. They don't understand there's many ways to skin the cat. Yep. And this is why you don't have like Shaq. So what would they do with Shaq in this era? I'm trying to understand this. But wait, because Shaq is not taking anything outside of 15 feet. Are you going to tell me he's not an efficient player?
That nigga Shaq, he gonna be breaking people's hearts out there. Nah.
Bro, they have nobody can deal with him. They got nobody can physically deal with him. Are you gonna tell me you're not gonna work the ball into Shaq to get 30? And again, see, that's the thing.
He's gonna be hurting people.
He's gonna be hurting their feelings because you can't. I'm gonna go to him for because again, you tell me Jared Allen. And Mo, so when the Cavs put Allen on the bench to get that 3, they gonna be able to deal with Shaq. Just dump the ball into him every time.
Real quick, gentlemen. Hey, could someone do me a favor?
Sure.
Could someone tell me how many points Jackson Hayes got at the half?
Oh, God, let me look at that. Let me look at that. I was watching.
Let me see.
I was told that he was gonna be the
Jackson Abdul Hayes. He got 2 points, 2 points, 3 rebounds.
And I always love to say, I just listen to these dudes talk to me, and Jackson Hayes been in the league since 2019. I've been watching him play since he got drafted by New Orleans, and I tried to
shout out to Brandon Brazimski.
Yes. And I try to, I let him say what he had to say last week. I said, all right, man, when it come to money time, it's all about money time, dog. All this, like Richard Pryor said back in the day, and nothing don't count other than your first and your last. And all this talk every year about bringing this guy, bringing that guy in, You are, like Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are. So it ain't nothing against them.
Shout out to your boy STO as well, man. I kind of, him with the two brains. Lakers gonna beat OKC in 5, right?
Oh, my boy, Sports Talk. Yeah, I gotta get him. Y'all gotta get that debate going.
Listen, I do it every week. Pull up here, man. I see we got 3 viewers and we ain't got no comments there, but I don't know if it's just, I don't know how this goes. But I welcome y'all to pull up for debate, man. I really wish Johnny and all them would come through. Obviously we gotta get bigger. We gotta keep putting our name out there. I do super chats. So I do a lot of super chats just to get the logo up there, man.
If I had a chance to speak to him, all I would do tell these cats, man, I'd be like, man, y'all got a calculator? Pull a calculator out. Divide 6 into 6. What percentile you get? And they gonna say 100. I said, now that's the universal truth. Now y'all can't virtual reality y'all way out of that. Now divide 10 into 4 or 3.5. What do you get? And y'all can't change that. That's universal truth. Now, how can y'all realistically sit there and tell these young kids out here that's learning math that 3.5, 35% is better than 100%? Now, if y'all gonna sit and try to tell these kids that, then they need to go to somebody else's class.
Can't because that's the thing. When something works, again, the 3-point shot can work, but the 3-point shot again is a streaky shot. If the 3-point, again, I want them to understand this, man. Because I want this on film, and if you hear it out my mouth, the 3-point shot, when done right, when done correctly, when worked out of a play,
it's a momentum shot. It's like it used to be like a dagger shot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and the guys that took it and made it, they made it at the right position, times of the game, the whole nine. Jordan didn't need the 3-point shot to be a great scorer.
He didn't even need it.
That don't mean he could not take it. See, again, did not take it and could not make it are 2 different things. I swear to God, bro, they got me crazy. Every time I go up there, they come up with the same argument. I know they try to frame me on my argument. I'm not against the 3-point shot. I'm against taking the 3-point shot just to take it because it doesn't work. Again, I've seen teams blow leads because all they do is take threes. You go cold from it, and next thing you know, a team gets momentum. Basketball is not a game. It's not a game with a script. There's no script. When y'all count people's shots, there's no script to who's going to shoot. You work the ball in. You take what the defense gives you or what you can do to break down a defense.
Here we go, right here, gentlemen. You know what they'll say? You live by 3, you die by 3. They don't say that about the 2. They don't say that about the 2-point shot. And you remember the conference finals in the East and the West in 2018, both win 7 games. And that game 7, Houston versus Golden State, Houston missed 25 straight threes. And then the other conference finals, game 7, Boston, they was up by double digits going to halftime, and they tricked off like 20-some straight threes and allowed Cleveland to come back and LeBron and clinch that series where really Boston should have won and Houston probably should have won. Meaning that if y'all missing threes like that, y'all need to go to something else. And they didn't do it. And they lost as a result.
Yeah, I've seen so many times, so many cases where you went to a 3, like Golden State, another one. They lost in 16 because they had no second. Once the 3 wasn't going, dropping away. Yeah, you can try and script it. Like, this is really hard because we watching what we watching, but then we watch what we used to watch back in the day, and we understood that a guy like Dennis Scott or a guy like Dale Ellis would hit threes as daggers. A guy like John Starks would hit a 3 as a dagger. And again, but no, one thing they were never going to do, or Sam Cassell, or all the great 3-point shooters of that era, one thing they were not going to do is search out a 3-point shot. They now search out the 3-point shot. And I get why they do it. And I'm not saying that that's a terrible way of, I'm not saying that that's what's killing the game. But it's the lack of imagination. It's the lack of being understandable. A lot of guys who take the three, they can't make two because they ain't got no move. They got no sweet spot. They got no.
Yep.
And again, we old heads. That's all we know. But no. We know your way. You don't know our way, and that's why more than likely, if we got you on the court, hey, if I see you gonna take threes, I'm not gonna let you hit the threes. Nowadays, again,
we're off that 3-point line.
We're gonna run you off. We're gonna run you off, and then when you don't know what to do with the two, if you come in there with a big, come in there with a solid big man. When you had a 6'7", now look, I'm looking at it right. You talk about bigger, faster, stronger. Portland Trailblazers are now one of the toughest physical teams in the league.
Man, they've improved. They've improved this year.
They've improved a lot, right? They've improved a lot. But look, their power forward is Julius Kamara. And before that, Julius Kamara, and before that, it was Grant before he got hurt. Grant is 6'7", Kamara is 6'7". You got a league full of 6'7", 6'8" power forwards now. What happened to the 6'11" power forward? What happened to the 7-foot power forward? What happened to the 7'1" power forward? We had that. Wait a minute, I thought they bigger, faster, stronger. Why are all the most toughest physical teams featuring 6'7", 6'8" power forwards? How that happen? This is bigger, faster, stronger. The centers in there. Look, Jokic, and I say this. I love Jokic. I said this again. Jokic would have been a power forward in the 90s.
It's the shortest it's been since '83.
Thank you.
Oh, height. You talking about average height?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shooting guards are shorter. You think Jordan would not kill these 6 foot? You cannot guard Jordan with a 6'2" guy. You have to guard him with your power forward. And now, guess what? Now Ron Harper can go off on your 6'3" shooting guard or your 6'1" point guard because, man, look. Again, I'm trying to think who's got a 6'10" power forward in this league today. Sabonis will play power forward. He's a center.
Yeah, Sabonis definitely playing out of position.
Yeah. Anthony Davis is a power forward. He's playing center. Got to play again out of necessity. They have kind of scaled back this height.
Speaking of AD, it look like the Lakers are kind of missing. I just pulled up the score. Look like they kind of missing them there.
Yeah, hey, listen. The idea that AD was the worst player in the league, that they try, that they acted like. Look, we gonna get into a lot of things, man. Again, I'm not the biggest AD guy, but AD was given such a raw deal. Oh, the Heat lost to the Grizzlies tonight, so their 6-game win streak is over. Timberwolves beat the Nets, of course. Remember what I told y'all about so the Timberwolves are now tied in the standings with the Grizzlies. Let me look at that.
Yeah, it's all idiot because the Golden State win. I think they'll maintain the 5th spot, I guess, and then the Clippers.
They'll maintain the 5th spot. I think Memphis might have Memphis might still have the
tiebreaker. Got a game winner. Maybe that'll get him going because, like I said 3 years ago, man, Ja Morant, man, he's probably a top 10 player. To tell you the truth, 3 years ago.
Well, if the Lakers lose tonight, that will put Minnesota a game and a half behind them, and they will be in the 7th spot. And the Lakers will be. Remember, I told Cino this back in the middle of the season. Remember that first time you pulled up on Cino? We pulled up together on Cino. I said the Lakers are in danger of making a play, and I said Minnesota is going to be fine. Minnesota, I showed the schedule right. Minnesota might win out, and they'll be at 50-32. The Lakers didn't have to get the fit. Now the Lakers might not be in the play-in because they would have to fall below Memphis, fall below Golden State. Below Denver. Really, Denver's ahead of them. I'm considering Denver ahead of them, and I think Denver will finish ahead of them for the 3. But yeah, man, it's a tight race. Even the Clippers at the 8th seed of 40 points, they only 2 games behind the Lakers too.
Yeah.
2.5. Dallas is going to get in the play-in. They'll probably win that. They'll probably win against Sacramento. But then they would really need to win against either the Clippers or shit. Memphis could fall out. Memphis firing their coach was weird, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was weird, man. Oh man, listen, bro. I could do this all night, man. I really wanted. I swear, this was the kind of last minute throw together. I didn't even know what I wanted to do this morning. I didn't even know if I wanted to do the podcast. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I pulled up on FYF again, bro, because they but
Man, I saw
yeah,
that dude.
man.
I saw that dude. That Go Kingdom. Every time I hear the name Go Kingdom, I just be cracking up. Man, that dude had
James.
he had a
Look, I ain't
purple.
gonna again. These are good guys, man. But boy, y'all are very misleading. Y'all are misleading, man. Y'all do that, and y'all know what y'all doing. I think they know what they doing. I think they know better. What they doing is because they got a lot of young James Kingdom fans in their fan base who don't understand, who don't, and they try to use lies and falsehoods and misrepresent the truth. They stretch the truth a little bit, and it's just come on, man, guys. Look, Jordan is the GOAT, and I think LeBron in his heart of heart knows it. He's really milking it. He's milking this whole thing and
That's what he's
trying to
doing.
move the goalpost.
He liked the idea of hearing people say that he's GOAT. But in his heart of hearts, he knows that he's not. So, like you said, he milking.
Because LeBron is a straight narcissist, and that's the thing. It's right. Jordan is not a narcissist. Jordan does not. He does not care about the fame. Jordan does not care that you want to come and get his autograph and all that. Like, he wants to live his life. He wanted to be the best basketball player, and that's, I think, if LeBron understood this, just be the best basketball player you could have been. And again, he thinks putting up the numbers on mediocre teams or putting up the numbers and losing this and the third, right? Because Jordan was mediocre when he was 30 and 39 and 40 with he's on a mediocre team. That I could be on a mediocre team. No, you can't be on a mediocre team with 5 or 6 Hall of Famers running. You can't be mediocre, mind you, right? Since the Luka trade, they're barely pushing 500. That's mediocre, right? And you still, he's still the best. Actually, Mark Gunnell's name was 6. A lot of teams got you in the top 10, and you got another top 10 player. Why y'all got a mediocre record? Why y'all not going? Why y'all? I mean, he just won 6 games in a row. Why y'all not blazing it? Because bro, it is what it is, man. I really, again, we're gonna do this GOAT debate stuff in the future. I really want people to pull up and debate their goals or say, if we ain't got your favorite. Okay, there's one thing I want to do too. Hold on. Hello? Okay. One thing I want to do too is Steph, the KDs and all these guys, can they get in the conversation? Can they get in the top 10? I don't have any of them in the top 10. I do probably have them in the next 10 at some point. But what could they do? And I think at this point it's too late. I mean, KD with this post Warriors career, he's better than El Jabbar. I would put him higher than El Jabbar, of course. I wouldn't put him higher than Hakeem. I wouldn't put him higher than that. Again, these super team attempt failures. Steph Curry, again, great player. He's in the top 20. Again, I have to, because I'm amending my list being based on what I've seen. Those guys are in the top 20. Anybody else in the league that will be in my top 2? Joker Joker got a good 5, 6, 7 years of his prime to go in his career. Let's see what he does. But he's definitely in that top 25 range. Again, you can't have a 3-time MVP not be a top 25 player, right? So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when their careers are said and done, and I'll compare them out to the Hakeems, and because Hakeem is at my 10, can one of them take them out? I think Joker got the best chance of the 3. I don't think Kevin Durant. You were best player on the planet for a year or 2, and then let's mess with Brooklyn again. You know what you could have done? You could have went to the Knicks, took them to a finals, and that would have, But you wanted to do what you wanted to do there. Who do you think is still currently playing? They could be in your top 10, man.
I would say by the time I finish, I would say Curry. I would say Curry. But I mean, if he was able to pull a 5th championship out of his hat, I mean, you could have.
That's one. That is definitely one.
Yeah, you could not. I think if KD won for the super team era, KD would be looked at totally like he was. He was an ambassador of the league. In OKC, and then they lost their mind when he went to Golden State because they freaked out. They had to they had to set down their pom poms for a couple years because
yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, KD might get Tim because I got Tim Duncan at 14, 13, 14, 15. I got Moses Malone is in there. I think KD has passed Moses in my opinion. He's passed, so is Curry. Again, Curry will never pass. I don't think there's anything he can do to pass Magic. Again, Magic is in my top 5. I think neither one of those guys should get the top 5. Joker got a chance to get really, 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 really damn high, but he's gonna have to win more championships, and that's for sure. Luka's got to get that first one. He's one of the Giannis. Oh, Giannis is another one. Yeah, he's got. Look, I'm gonna do my because when I did, I'll be honest. When I did my top 25 all time, or top 50 all time, I did it probably back in 2014, 2015. So at that point, Giannis and these guys weren't even like a factor yet, right? KD was just now getting to the prime of his career. So I got to give it its honest due and see where these guys come in now that they're at the back. Even Giannis and Joker are on the back half of their career, right? They've been in the league 10 years. Unless they're gonna play 25 years, they're at the downhill stage of their careers. And again, you got things to accomplish, more MVPs, more scoring titles, the whole nine. And you got to put it in perspective. Those guys definitely, belong in that discussion. But to get to the GOAT again, there's one standard, bro. There's one standard. Jordan won 6 championships in 11 full seasons, and then he went out.
Yeah, that's frightening, man.
It's very frightening. It's very frightening. And again, he dominated. He threw 2 3-peats. Again, I know it's hard to be 3-peat. It's hard to keep your team together. I gotta consider that as well. It's hard to keep your team together. But by the same token, it's hard to keep your team dominant. And that's what Jordan did 2 times. That's the standard. Sorry, fellas, young fellas. Sorry that's the standard, but it's the standard. Keep your team. Again, did LeBron have to do 2 3-peats? No. Did he have to win 8 championships? No. But what he did was he didn't have to. He shouldn't have had to have the most fundamental failures that he had. And again, when I'm going to 2011 finals, it's going to count against you. Jordan didn't have a bad series. He didn't when he played against the damn. You think it was fair for him to go against the 86 Celtics with 5 Hall of Famers on that team with Orlando Woolrich? But Jordan's individual play was not as bad as LeBron playing with 2 Hall of Famers against Dirk Nowitzki and an old Jason Kidd. So Jason Kidd was Hall of Famer, but we all know Jason Kidd was at the back 2-3 holes of his career, and you got beat going away. You personally, you would have. Again, I've seen LeBron be the 5th, 6th best player in a series that he played in. That's not GOAT status. I never see Kobe. I see Kobe be the 2nd best. I see Kobe maybe be Kobe's worst series of his career was unfortunately the 04 finals versus the Detroit Pistons. All right, so maybe he was the 3rd or 4th best player, and I think he was the 3rd. I think Shaq was the best, but it just proved that the best team beats 2 great individual player performances. Fact of the matter is, again, the standard is the standard. Jordan was never outgunned. Nobody did it. And you could sit there and tell me what he would be in this. He would destroy this league. He would work on a 3-point. If you're telling me Brandon Podziemski can be a great 3-point shooter, you tell me Michael Jeffrey Jordan couldn't? Come on, guys. Let's keep it real, man. Yo, man, it's good to have you, man. I would go for 1 o'clock, but We got a trip to make tomorrow, and
No, that's all good. No, man, I always enjoy it, man. Most definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got the camera appearances. Don't get used to this for now. But in the future, yeah, we're gonna be stepping our game up, man. We're gonna be trying to get our names out there. Get some fun chat, some fun debates in the chat and stuff like that going on. I'm novice at this. I'm trying to, I really don't have much training. Just like come on in, I speak my mind about basketball, bro. Like, that's it. I don't know everything, but I damn sure know a lot more than some of the guys that be talking that mess.
Yes, just let me know. I'll try to reach out if y'all want some.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, listen, man. Like, because again, we did at this point we keep it this conversational. We get some topics and we just go on it. You make your point, I make my point. Blah blah blah. Popcorn style. Debates. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, so you just let me know when. I'll see if I can reach out, and if y'all got a topic, we want to talk with somebody else. I'll try to arrange that if we can do it.
Yeah, and I'll try to get some again. I got my boy from all ball favor. I'll try to get him on night because then it's nice when they doing their stuff. If the Knicks are playing, they do the Knicks rehab. But I'll try to get him to pull up. To me, them guys, I really like. They're the ones that really got me on the path of wanting to do this because I see how they got there, and I think they're a great podcast because they do the same thing. 3 guys come on in and they talk about the Knicks, and then sometimes they go around the league and they just this is a good thing, man. This is a good thing. I really appreciate you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. Y'all do a great job.
Me and May been gapping each other for the longest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we said we need to get on here and do it, and I've been, but we here, man. We here, so
the only thing we can do is grow. So that's what we're gonna do.
That's it. But I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all have a great night and see y'all in the next one.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Have a good one.